Good morning, everyone. From Prairie Girl and Cowboy Homestead. Our fire is nice and hot today. The coffee's been brewed. The red pot on the stove is our hot water for tea or hot chocolate. Homemade hot cocoa, for sure. Our weather is going to be 50 degrees today in Montana. I'm hoping later to do a little video on my Facebook page called Prairie Girl Farm of revealing our Christmas cards, and maybe we'll redo it here too so that you can see over here on YouTube all of our really pretty cards that we've gotten from all of you folks, and nice comments and recipes, and it'll be fun to go through and record all that for you. But Prairie Girl is a little on slow today, so she's headed out for chores now, and you can join me out there. Good morning. Come along. We'll go do some chores. It's a windy day a little bit, but it's supposed to hit 50, 51 degrees again here in Montana. So not a bad day. Probably would be a good day to clean my chicken coop. If I get Cowboy to drive the tractor right up to the door for me so I have his bucket to pitch everything into, I think later that's my plan. I will go ahead and try to at least scoop out a little bit of what's in there. I have been doing the turning method. I have my pitchfork really handy, and when I go in, gather eggs, whatever, under their roost especially is where I will take the pitchfork and flip their compost, and actually that turns into really good stuff for your garden. So, and it's not froze down yet, so I've been able to do that. But I think just because it is so nice, I'm going to take advantage of that and get it out of the coop now and start with some fresh straw again. So that's what I plan on doing there. If all goes as planned, Cowboy's out screwing up his sheeting on his walls in his new shop. So he's been having fun doing that. He had a lot of help this weekend. Or this week, I guess. I feel like I had weekend, but I thought maybe somebody drove up, but I guess not. It went by. So anyway, he got a lot of his sheeting up with help from his son, so that helps. And he's just got it tacked up there, so now he's going back through and putting more screws in the walls to hold up that sheeting. But so he's enjoying playing in his shop a little bit and getting that going. I did a lot of baking ahead of time early for Christmas, and I don't know how much more baking I will do. There are a couple other recipes I wanted to try, but with the majority of the kids that were going to come and have already come, I've got a couple plates to put together, and after that I'm going to stop eating sweets. That's so hard for me. I don't know if it is for you guys, but I like my cup of hot coffee. I like a cookie. I like a piece of candy. And that's why I struggle so hard. I can't do it because I grew up with it. I love it. That's what I do. But anyway, I'm going to put a lot of it in the freezer and have it, stashed away for the winter time. Bring it out a little bit at a time and enjoy it that way. Here we are again, ready for food. So I better get this going, so I'll be right back. We need some grain for the chickens here. Cowboy and I need to butcher. We have too many roosters. You hungry, girl? Part of my bale is not good. It went through a lot of rain later this summer, and so this whole side of my bale is bad. So I've been trying to pull it to the side and pitch off the good end of it for everybody. It won't be long, 5 months from last week for sure, we will be having baby goats in the big red barn born. And so that's an exciting time on our homestead. The spring is a lot busier, a lot more things going on in the summer on our homestead than they are in the winter time for us. In the winter time, Cowboy and I like to recoup, kick back, enjoy our chairs, our house, our reading. We just enjoy a lot slower pace. So, you know, our schedule in the winter time is not as crazy and exciting as it is throughout spring, summer, and fall. Spring we'll have all the new babies born. We will have a few little calves born. We will hopefully get at least one baby donkey. We will see. Otherwise, we might skip the year and go to the next year so we can get them switched to the springtime for having babies. So it takes 13 months for a little donkey. So we have not put Delilah back in with the jack yet. So in February we hope to do that, and she'll be the following year for sure. But I'm hoping Patches still comes through and has a baby this summer. But you know, she's missed the last 2 years, and she might just have decided no more. So anyway, then we go into our spring, and I usually start a few house plants or seedlings in my house for my garden, and this year I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just wait a little bit longer and go to my greenhouse and start all my seeds out there because they do so much better. Let me give some more hay to these guys over here. They're waiting, the little ones. But the plants that I start in my greenhouse are so much stronger and they grow so much better. And so I'm just going to wait this year and start everything in my greenhouse. So I'll be right back. We'll quiet the goats down a little bit so you can hear me. So I'm excited for that. My seed catalogs are coming. They're in the mail. I've got some already here. I've got Baker's Creek and Seed Savers and a couple others too, I believe. So after we get done with the holidays, I'm going to start enjoying sitting down, just going through those catalogs page by page and back through again, and really decide how we're going to do the garden and what we want to plant. I'm really afraid that we are going to fight moles, voles, whatever you call them. They really moved into our garden last fall, and so I'm really worried about that because we did fight quite a few in our potato patch up the coulee too. We have another garden up by the big corrals, and that's where we planted our potatoes. And so I think we're going to have to work on the mole problem if we can, get more of those vibrator stakes that go in the ground that they don't like, and just put more of those out around and see if we can't scare them off. But they do so much damage. So I'm really worried about the moles because they do so much damage. They just ruin it. It's discouraging. It's frustrating when you're working and planning to grow your own food. And we got the root cellar built last summer, so our goal this year was to really grow as much as we could that we could store in the root cellar, besides canning, preserving, and dehydrating too. So that's our plan for the spring. Lots of plans to be made. I'm going to catch this camera because I'm afraid the wind's going to take it right now. We'll be back really soon. So I'm back. I got all the hay pitched. I thought maybe you'd like to go along and see my little greenhouse. It's not a very big one. Grab my little egg basket here. It's not a very big one, but it does a purpose for us. I think last spring we did end up putting a little heater in towards the end because we did have some cold weather, and it sounds like our spring coming could go later into the year too, and that always worries me when I start them in the greenhouse, if we can keep it warm enough. And it was barely warm enough last spring, so I don't want to start too soon starting seedlings. So here, I'm going to turn you around a little bit here. Here's my greenhouse. And I actually sold a couple zebus one spring and was able to go to the lumber store, hardware. It was kind of a lumber hardware store. And they had these on their lot. And it's full right now, so, but it works really good. I've got a lot of stuff stored in it. But I can start seeds in here. So I really like it. So I'll be on in the spring, probably in here quite a bit. And here's what a sad garden area looks like right now. This is just 2 parts of 4 gardens that we have. We have 4 gardens. We started a fruit tree patch last spring. We planted, I think it was 20 some altogether of apples and plums. I think there was a choke cherry in there maybe. But we've been, for all you new subscribers, and thank you for joining us, we've been on this property for, will be 2 years in the spring, in March, in April. We will be here 2 years. So there was nothing here at all when we moved to this property. Nothing. No fences, no buildings, no house. We had to plumb our well water down from the coulee about 1,900 feet to get it to our house. And then we had to put in hydrants and put in pens all around here. So none of this was here. And Cowboy built my big red barn over there, and that works pretty handy. We'll take a walk over there and take a peek so you can see inside that too today. So that didn't work. I had my camera on the tripod and the wind blew it over. So, but no eggs in my coop. I had set it there to go gather to see if there were any early eggs, but there weren't. So we're going to go over here, take a peek into where my little red barn is. Try not to walk too fast. My Cowboy built me this barn. Will be, I'm thinking 4 years ago, maybe 3 now. And he's built it so it's 3 pieces. The roof up here is a separate piece, and he built 2 sides, and so it is movable. And this is where I do all the kidding. We have lots of baby goats born here, as well as calves. Excuse me. We have a milking stanchion over here. I had to move my donkeys out of here. I was letting them stand in here during the storms, but they were bored and they were chewing on my panels, ruining them. So, but this is a very cozy barn. and it will be so busy in the spring. So if you like baby goats, you won't want to miss in the springtime on the homestead, because there will be a lot of excitement going on here. Not as much as normal. Last year I had like 40 some nannies to kid. This year I've only got 20 some, so it's not going to be as busy. So just thought I'd let you take a peek. So I'm headed in now. I think it's time to have another cup of coffee, maybe a piece of my mom's fruit cake for breakfast, and maybe play my cowboy a game of crib. We've gone a few days without playing. He's played with the boys. They've had a lot of fun with that. We've played cards into the night, playing golf. That was fun. Not golf, the game of golf, but card game golf. And I hadn't played that for years with him, so that was a fun time too. So anyway, I'm just going to go back in, and it's a little windy out here, but I think later I still will come out and go ahead and get this coop cleaned as long as the day goes as planned. So before I go in, I need to water my chickens. We have some wind today. I'm not liking that. It's not as nice out as I thought it would be. So it's Merry Christmas on the homestead for us. I sat down, had a cup of coffee, and went through our Christmas cards all sent in from you folks out in this land out here in the open. And through our Facebook page on Prairie Girl Farm, I went ahead and did a full video of opening these cards and showing you individually the seeds, the recipes, the gifts, the soap. So pop over to my Facebook page and take a look at that little video. It was fun for us. It's a special time for us because this was the first year we had received cards, Christmas cards from any of you folks out there. So this is all new to us. We're loving this. It's beyond our mindset to thinking that there are so many of you out there that have found us through social media and seem to really enjoy following Cowboy and I on our homestead. It's something that blows me away because it's just our life. It's the way we live, and never ever thought of it being an interest to anybody. And so we feel very, very blessed, very blessed. It's so exciting to go to the post office now. It's like, did we get more Christmas cards? It's been so much fun to get them from everybody all over. And so I'm just going to pop on here and show the pictures really quick and let you see the cards. But go over to my Facebook page. This one had seeds in it. Let's see, we got to keep the envelope with everybody. It's just been exciting. I mean, words can't express how exciting it was to get all this mail. Here's more. This one was very special too. This is a picture that she drew and had cards made out of, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So I do have a Homestead Journal cookbook that I'm going to be starting, and the recipes that I got in my Christmas cards this year will definitely start going right into that Homestead Journal cookbook. And so there's still time. If you have a recipe any time of the year, I don't care when, if you have a recipe that you think I would really enjoy having here and you'd like us to put it in our Homestead Journal cookbook, I'll tape it in right in and we will have it there forever. So here's more cards. Baby Jesus. But it's been awesome. And if you have extra seeds that you grow in your garden, that you would like to share with me, please do. Please share. More cards. And this gal here brought me, or sent me, a wooden angel for the top of my primitive tree that she made, and it's perfect. I'm not going to take it down, but it's beautiful there, and it'll always be there. Look at this. So cute. So cute. Here's a snowman. Here's a cow, and this is from our neighbor. It's awesome. Just giving you a quick peek. But go on over to my Facebook page. It's called Prairie Girl Farm, and we've got a video of reading and showing a little bit more of what was in them. This is so cool. And here's another one. This one really had some special things in it, and I don't want to lose it, but I'll tell you all about that and let you see in there. Recipes, seeds, ornaments. So be sure to go over to my Facebook page. There's another one. So now that I've gone through these, I'm going to get their names wrote down in my book and their addresses and try to keep a journal of all that we get from everybody. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to thank you for sending us all these beautiful cards and for sharing our YouTube and our Facebook page with other folks that you think would like following our page. You know, we're relaxing now through the winter. We're enjoying it. We're enjoying our wood stove. We're enjoying reading. We're enjoying planning our next year's garden. We're just recouping our bodies. So life here, you know, there's things always going on, and I'll keep video on as I go, but it won't be as productive as it will be starting in the spring. But for now, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us, and God bless you, and we'll be back on here again really soon. So as you can see, a chicken coop is by far one of the dirtiest places. I really think they are. That is on a farm. Chickens just poop, but their poop makes really good fertilizer, and that's what I have, excuse me, out in my bucket on the tractor is compost that's been under the rest of the roosting rack, and I've been flipping it with a pitchfork the last few weeks. So it was loose. It wasn't froze down because we've had such nice weather. So I decided, since it's supposed to be 50 degrees today was the day to go ahead, clean it all out one more time, and hopefully this will get me into spring, and it won't be too bad. I have a lot of dusting to do on this side, and that's where I need to use a mask, because this area over here, the chickens do not get to be in, but just from them scratching and being in here all the time, it gets really dusty over here. I do leave one of the windows cracked all the time just for fresh air, and that helps some for circulation so it doesn't get too damp in here and ammonia smelling for the chickens. I like to keep it as fresh as I can. And, you know, as long as it's not way below zero, a little window cracked, and my little coop run door that goes out to the coop stays open usually too during the day or the night. Just kind of circulates the air. So that area, I'm going to have to put my mask on and just dust it down a little bit and push it out with the broom the rest of the way. But for now, I've got the floor pretty well scooped out, and lately the girls are wanting to poop and rest in the coop or in the nesting boxes, which really is frustrating. I don't know why they're doing that, because they've got lots of room on their roost to sit together, and I guess it's a pecking order thing maybe. Um, but they are starting to lay more eggs just because the weather has turned a little for the nicer. They seem to be done molting for the most part, and they're growing their feathers back, so they look a lot better. But it's hard to believe I'm doing this job in just a vest and a shirt in December, Christmas time. Normally we'd have a lot of snow, it'd be cold, I couldn't get it out. The chickens would all be in here in the coop all day long, and it was a good day to push them outside, lock their little hole, and get this little job done. So I'm going to get this straw bale opened and start strawing the nest down. So we've got some really good straw here. And this was actually bought last year, and we kept it in the barn undercover, so it's really a good straw. The mice haven't even really seemed to really bother it too much. We've kept poison in the barn. We always stick it in like a PVC pipe so that the mice can get into it and nothing else can. And that seemed to help a lot. So it is, chicken coop is very messy, very dirty. And it's very hard to keep it clean. But the eggs are so worth it. There's nothing compares to the taste of farm fresh eggs. And they are going to love this fresh straw. I'm not sure how many hens I have at the moment. Probably 30 to 40. Some are getting older. Some are fairly young still. Some are ones that hatched last spring, and some are on our homestead. I've got an incubator, and I've hatched a couple batches, but I did sell the first batch, and so I've got a few of those that we ended up butchering. They're not really meat chickens, but hey, they're meat, and they're on the homestead. You know how they're processed. So we did butcher a few of those roosters, and then later in the summer we had, gosh, all of a sudden, I bet I had 13, I think it was 13 hens want to set on eggs and be broody. And I had them sitting everywhere in my nest. They just would not quit. So I finally put eggs under all of them, so many, and once they started hatching, I moved one hen, and the first handful of chicks went out to a cage outside that was warm. It was contained so that nothing could get them. And as they would hatch, I would take a couple more chicks out. And so we ended up with, I think, 2 mother hens, maybe 3, out of the 13 that I actually let take care of the babies because it was too many for the size cage I had. And so they raised, I think it ended up with 10 chicks. And there again, I've got half of those in roosters. And so Cowboy and I are definitely going to have to butcher someday here. And one room that's going to be built in his shop is, we're going to call it the 1040 room, and that's where our freezers will be. We're hoping to find a used stainless steel counter. He's got a plumb ready for like a utility sink that we can go ahead and butcher chickens in, or if we get a deer, we can process that ourselves. We've got a little tiny grinder that we're going to try out. I don't know if it's going to be big enough for what we need on the homestead, but that's going to be kind of our room to process our meat. And so looking forward to that. But if you don't have chickens, chickens are very messy, but they are well worth having them, even if you've got a small backyard coop with just a handful in. I would say the hardest part is probably keeping your coop cleaned enough for them, and keeping the predators away. It's so hard with predators. You try everything possible to keep them safe, and for a long time you may not have a predator come in, but then they will eventually. Seems like they find you, they hear the chickens or whatever, and then you have trouble, and then we have to trap. Last summer was a crazy summer here. Cowboy trapped 7 out of 8 skunks. And the 8th one must have just gave up because everybody was gone, and he wasn't going to get caught because he left. he left the homestead, but all summer long we had 8 skunks. I'm sure a mama hatched out, they, birthed a bunch of them under our little buildings here, and we fought skunks for so long. And we finally got those contained, but Cowboy had to catch him with the live trap, and he would walk up with the tarp, lay it down over the tarp, or over the cage, pick that up, set it in the back of our Ranger, take it up the coulee and dispose of them. We did not want them coming back. There was too many of them, and I'm always afraid of rabies. I don't need them eating my eggs. I don't need them eating my chickens. And they stink. They smell. You'll just get to sleep in the summer evening with the window open and skunk spray, and it's horrible. So that's one thing that's not welcome on our homestead. The other morning we had snow cover, fresh covering of snow, and Cowboy saw mountain lion tracks not far from our homestead, on our property going up to our main corrals where our pump and well is. And so they're around us. We had a black bear this summer, and the Fish and Game had to capture that up because it was getting into neighbors' sheep. And so it's not fun having the predators, and usually if you've got a homestead with critters, you're eventually going to run into them, and they raise havoc, and it's not so fun. So anyway, I'm pretty excited to get this all cleaned out, and the chickens will come in here and scratch this around, spread it around more. But I'm going to go ahead and finish my nests, and I've got some more nests over here. I guess I went ahead and strawed those down already. And I know there's some hens wanting to come in right now and lay, because I did kick some out of my nesting box before I went to cleaning, but I do have a couple of farm fresh eggs here. So anyway, folks, this is just a little taste of what I do here. I try to do as much as I can do. Sometimes I might need a little backup help from Cowboy if I'm not feeling good, or too much wet, heavy stuff, or he helps me a lot. He'll take my tractor, or his tractor out, and dump it in our compost pile, and we just work together on the homestead. And I think that's very important if you've got a mate, that you can help each other out and get things accomplished. I don't know what I would do without my Cowboy. He's a blessing. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this little job here, and we'll see what else happens to put this video together for you. Welcome back. I am really here on the homestead kind of video, because I went several days without being able to record and popping on, and I've got so many comments on my videos that I need to get back to and chat with you folks a little bit. I could just see them coming on, and with the little kids here, and I don't like to be on my phone when we've got company. I just don't like that. I guess I'm a little old school. I would check it a couple times just to make sure there wasn't an emergency, but I try to lay my phone down and enjoy the moment with the kids. I don't like to see the phone all the time in people's hands. It's not a good thing. In this day and age, we need some more interaction. We need some more visiting, more laughing, more doing hands-on projects, and it's a life that a lot of our kids are missing out on. And so when they come, I like to be able to put it down and just enjoy. And I love my internet. I love it, and I missed you folks out there. And I thank you for popping on and joining us, and being patient for me to get back in the swing of things. And I hope you're going to enjoy what I do here. And I'm just going to be doing little videos like this. It's raw footage. I've decided, if it ever happens that I learn how to do some editing, fine. Because there's sometimes I could do a little clip here and there. But for the most part, you are going to get raw footage of us on our homestead. And maybe I'll sneak over in a little bit to the shop and let you see what Cowboy's doing over there, if he'll let me video him. So anyway, you'll get to see his progress on the inside of the shop. So anyway, I'm going to finish up this job here, go get a drink, because I can feel the dust in my throat, get a cup of coffee or something going, and put another log on the fire, and we'll be back with a little bit more of the day's happenings. Okay, so here they are. They're coming in one by one, checking out all the new straw. I have 2 guineas. I have 1 turkey hen, and I'll have to get some mates for her in the spring, I guess. I think I will get baby poults, I guess is what you would call them. I'll either order them through the mail or go to Tractor Supply, something. But they are ready to get back in their nests. I tried not to leave them locked out too long so that they wouldn't lay their eggs outside somewhere in the run. But they do love a cleaner coop. You know, it's as clean as a coop can get. There's a pretty rooster. It's fun to watch them. They're checking out to see which nesting box has the most straw or the coziest. They're all looking pretty good after their molt. They had a really severe molt for a while. But for the most part, most of them have grown back their feathers. There's still a few, like this one looks a little rough still, but she's gaining. She's looking a lot better. So this is our coop on our homestead. Whoops, there goes my door. I don't want them out, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this video off. It just popped open from the wind. So, talk to you soon. So they are really liking this new straw. They were happy to get in. Some of them still haven't realized I've opened it back up again. And this little area, I dusted a little bit, but it got too dusty now, so I stepped out and let the air clean it up a little bit. But I did sweep up a lot of the feathers off the floor that have blown in there from their molting. And like I said, I do have a little window slightly open there. I didn't get this dusted up here yet, but I usually can hang more baskets up here for the eggs. If I forget to bring one from the house, I've usually got an extra basket here. We've got our chicken water, which is a dog dish, plugged in, and actually would not need to be plugged in right now because we're pretty nice weather. But the girls are looking pretty good. This rooster looks really good too. For a while he looked really rough. He looks good. So tell me below in your comment if you have chickens, if you love the farm fresh eggs, or do you prefer the store-bought? I hate it when I have to buy store-bought eggs. There's nothing tastier than an egg from the farm. In fact, I think it's about time to go in and eat something. It's got to be noon. We had my mom's fruit cake for breakfast, so with coffee. So I think I'm ready for some leftovers. Another job done on the homestead. It's a good feeling. So you've all been wanting to see the inside. This is what Cowboy's been doing. Putting the sheeting up over his insulated wall. I'm excited for him. Well, folks, thanks for joining me today on the homestead. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited to start making you a few videos here and there. And I hope you enjoyed following me around today, from starting out this morning to the Christmas card revealing, and to the cleaning the coop. I'm still trying to clean my throat out from that. It's a nasty job, but it's got to be done. And on a day like today, I can't not do it. So that wasn't on my list for this week, but with the weather, I had to get it done. It was perfect, perfect weather. So my day's about over. I'm about to kick my feet up for the rest of the day, but I'm also in the middle of washing my bedding, so I've got to finish that job. And there's one more thing I need to do. And I know all you women, if you cook and you have leftovers, this is something that you go through too. I open my fridge door. Oh, I smell something. So it's time to clean my refrigerator out that's in my kitchen. I know it's probably broccoli or a chunk of cauliflower or something that's gone bad. And it smells like a stinky diaper or something. So I know you know the smell. And every time Cowboy opens that fridge up, I'm like, oh, I gotta clean that fridge. It's driving me nuts. So that is what I'm going to do before I finish and kick my feet up in my chair for the rest of the evening. So anyway, folks, thanks for joining us, Prairie Girl and Cowboy Homestead. I hope you enjoyed following us around. It's, when Cowboy gets more out in the garden and outdoors, when we're cutting wood, whatever, I'll have more videos of him too. But he's just busy in his shop like a little beaver, and his mind is on getting that going, and he's having fun. He's enjoying it. And I told him, fix it the way you want it. This is the time to build your shop the way you've always wanted it all your life. And the reason we call the one room on the end the 1040 is because it's going to be 10 by 40. And it'll be a space for our freezers, our sink, and like I told you earlier, if I can find us an old used stainless steel cupboard countertop, so we can go ahead and wrap meat and butcher chickens. And we do have a bull coming up, a miniature bull that I don't need anymore, and it's not so big that I think Cowboy and I can go ahead and handle butchering that together. He's actually going to run something to hang it on the inside of my first root cellar door, so it's nice and cold there. And we'll just take a quarter at a time, or whatever we feel we can handle for the day, excuse me, and we'll cut it up, we'll bring it in, and we will go to pressure canning that meat and putting it on our shelf in the root cellar. So that's a project, but we're not quite ready to tackle that. We want to get through the Christmas holiday. He's working on his shop. Someday soon we will go ahead and tackle that little project, and it'll be nice when that's done too. But we're not going to be overwhelmed with doing it at our age, and the sore muscles, arthritis, is sore shoulder. We're just going to take it slow and do a little bit at a time, maybe one canner full a day, and go with that, and possibly make some jerky or salami, work on that too. So that's one of our winter projects to come up, and hopefully we'll get some good video on that and lots more. So have a good evening, folks. We will be back as soon as I can get a chance to put more video together. Appreciate you. God bless. Love you.